Hi everybody, today we're at Adam-on-Diammon and I'm going to start this video at Preacher's Rock. I'm not going to start from where you park just to make the video a little bit shorter, but what I've noticed is a lot of times people will walk down this way and only get this far. This is Preacher's Rock right here, and as you can see there's this dirt road. You can either go to the left or to the right. As far as I know at this point there's nothing to the left. Although in Sacred Places, Missouri by Lamar C. Barrett, he identifies a cabin site over that way that belonged to an early church member, and the site of the cabin was identified as the place where Adam had his first meeting of Adam-on-Diammon with his posterity. Now, as far as I know, there's not a marker over there, but I haven't personally walked down that way. So if I find that out, I'll make another video and we'll go check that out. So we're gonna go to the right, and the idea today, as long as the GoPro lasts and I have enough battery, I want to go to the public square and religious site, which is essentially the block where the temple would have been built in the city of Adam-on-Diammon. Before we go down that way, I want to point this out. I've already made a video showing the consecrated seeping spring, but let's just go over here really quick since it's kind of on the way and it's not too far off the path. So you have this like hidden little trail, and it's not hard to get to this. Anything beyond this point though, if we continue down that road, it is a little bit hard to get to. But if you have kids with you, this is easy to reach. So marker number 5, consecrated seeping spring. And there it is right there. Now, every time that I've been here, there is water in there. Right now it looks like it's a little bit dried up, but you can see that it's still moist. But what I want to do is read the story of this spring. This is from the journal of an early church member, William Swartzell. He said, "This morning, got a pail of milk. Brothers Joseph Smith, Martin Harris, and myself went to digging a spring and walling it in. Brother Lyman White hauled the stone to wall it in and did the mason work." Now really quick, the trail that you come down after you park, you'll see the marker for Lyman White's cabin, and this spring was on his property. And then as we go further that way, we're gonna go past the site of his barn. So this is between his cabin and his barn. After being dug out, cleansed, and walled up, I observed to the brethren that as the mason work was finished, we ought to make a prayer before God that the spring might never fail, flowing as an everlasting fountain to the saints elect. It was agreed upon by brothers Smith, White, and Harris that on me should devolve the duty of consecrating the spring. We then all bowed our knees before God with faces toward the spring, and holding up our hands, supplication was made to the Almighty, and that the spring might everlastingly send forth in abundance of good water to the inhabitants of this blessed and sacred land. We were well pleased with the spring, and had not the least doubt but that it would work well. But a wonder now came to light. In 2 or 3 days, the spring began to fail, and in about 1 week, it went entirely dry. From this fact, many contended that there were no saints in Zion. Immediately after we had prayed by the side of the spring, and before it went dry, I observed to Joseph Smith that the city should have a new name. Brother Joseph placed his back against a small shady tree near the spring, and then said, "We shall alter the name of this stake, every city being called a stake." And looking towards heaven for a short time, said, "It does not take me long to get a revelation from heaven. And this stake or city shall be called Adam-on-Diammon." He assigned as a reason for calling it so that there was no place by that name under heaven. Here's the site of the Clayton Barlow home. This is obviously after the saints were here. This is 1910 to 1950. And there are the ruins of the home. And then there's one more site when you go that way, but we're going to go back to the main trail and try and get over to the public square. If you're new, make sure to go to the description box of any video, and I have a link to my map and my spreadsheet for church sites to help you find these places. It's going to take me a while to get the GPS coordinates for all these place markers at Adam-on-Diammon, but eventually I'll do it. I already have some of them up. I'm also trying to get pictures of the place markers so that when you click on the place marks on the map, it'll show you what the location looks like. All right, we're back on the main road, and you can already see the next marker right here at the bend in the road. It's right there. That's the site of Lyman White's barn. And it sounds like we have plenty of cicadas out right now. There always is in every one of these videos, no matter where I go. No matter where I go, whether I'm in the country, out in the boonies, or whether I'm in Independence, they're just all over the place. Yeah, so where I'm going right now, you probably don't want to go unless you have the strength to do it. It's probably not good for small children or the elderly. It probably isn't really good for anybody during the summertime. Today, it's dipped down into the 70s, the high 70s, so this is much more tolerable than when I did it on the 4th of July, which was a really bad idea. It turns out I'm lucky I didn't get heat stroke or something like that. But yeah, where we're going right now, I'm still kind of exploring and getting a feel for it. I think the last time I was here, so there's like, if I remember right, there are two paths that go to the right. And we're coming up on the first one. The last time I was here on the 4th of July, I think I went up the second one, but I think they both go to the same place. And so this time I'm just going to go up this first one. I'm coming here at a sad time because I don't know if you saw the news, but there was one of the senior missionaries that works here that passed away on Saturday. Let's see. I had a different idea of exactly where this was going to go. I think it's going to turn to the left and go up to where the public square was. But anyway, he unfortunately passed away. I'm sorry, right now I can't remember the name. I think the last name started with a B. If you want, maybe you could look it up really quick while you're watching this and put it in the comments. But what happened was he was mowing, and there was a really steep hill, and you know, his mower flipped over, like flipped on its side, is what I think happened. And so it was tragic. Please make sure to say a prayer for his wife, children, grandkids, family. Although, you know, on the brighter side, there probably aren't very many other places that are better to leave this world than Adam-on-Diammon, the home of our first parents, Adam and Eve. And hopefully we'll see him again here, resurrected, as a resurrected being. It's really interesting. I don't know how many missionary couples there are here, and maybe you already know this, but you can't just request a mission assignment here. You have to be selected. And it seems like mostly what they do is they just kind of take care of the land, like lawn mowing, for example, landscaping. Before I came here, I was told that at the parking area at Tower Hill, there used to be a lot of trees there that obscured the view of the valley of Adam-on-Diammon. So they've cleared all that out. I know that the sister missionaries, they maintain this like flower garden on top of Tower Hill, where you have the sign that talks about Tower Hill, and really near the site where you had what Joseph Smith called the Nephitish altar, but it was also the location of Adam's altar. Maybe I'll share those quotes in another video. But, you know, I'm starting to doubt that we're going to be going where I wanted to go. Maybe I should have gone the way that I went last time. It kind of seemed to me like it was like a big loop. So, like the right turn off and the first right turn off and then the second right turn off basically are connected. And they're a loop. I think that's what's going on. I hope that's what's going on. But we're about to see. I will say, this is a much better way to come though. The other one gets a little steep. It gets a little rocky. It was not fun at all, I'll tell you that. Although maybe with the cooler temperatures it wouldn't be so bad. I'm kind of surprised that we haven't seen any place markers yet, because when I went that other way, I started coming across these different markers, these different signs, like what we saw at the consecrated spring and the cabin. What was it called? The Barlow home, I think. There's a little kind of cleared away area or opening, but I don't see any markers. It seems like there's a little path that goes up that way. And from what I remember, it seems like that's the way that we should be going to get to the public square. So we are on a real adventure in this video. I have no idea where we're going. I'm just glad that it's in the 70s, honestly. And the thing about it is that it's really humid in Missouri. Well, at least this year. I mean, this is my first year living in Missouri, so I don't really know what it's like. I'm experiencing everything for the first time, but it just seemed like it was really humid throughout the whole summer. And then when you go down over here, like where the consecrated seeping spring was, when you get into all that thicket over there, it is really humid. It feels like a rainforest. Yeah, I'm starting to think that we shouldn't have gone this way. There is one place in particular that I'd like to go in another video. It was the site of Lyman White's ferry. I don't know if there's something to see there. I feel like whenever I've talked to people about it, there might be something to see there. I see a gate up there. It's open. I don't see any signs that say do not enter. So let's keep an eye out for that. I'm hoping that this video isn't a bust. It looks like this is just going to the main road. Yep, it is. Okay, so the first right was the wrong answer. It just goes back to the main road as you're driving to Tower Hill. It seems like it's just a service road, so I guess we are going to go the fun way. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's just like I'm in the army again. You know, we had plenty of ruck marches that were just so much fun with 35 plus pounds in your rucksack and then carrying around hopefully just carrying around an M4, but other times having to lug around 249s or 240 Bravos. Oh, good times, good times. Oh, I guess those days aren't over for me. I thought that they would be. After the army, I vowed that I was never gonna work out again, and definitely not run or hike, but I was wrong. I did gain like 500 pounds after the army. Just kidding. But I am overweight, so this is actually pretty good. My sergeant would be proud of me. Okay, there's nothing over here. Pretty soon, there is going to be another marker. I think it's just on the other side of these bushes and tree. Oh yeah, I see it right now. Okay. The grass is a lot shorter than it was on Independence Day. Oh gosh. Okay. Marker 23. View lot cabin site. I can only assume that that means a view of the temple lot up here. Now, unlike the temple lot in Independence, they didn't lay any cornerstones, and there's some debate about whether there will be another temple here or if there'll be a temple here in the future, because in the case of Independence, you had stones that were placed to mark the place of the temple, and by revelation, we know that that's supposed to be the great temple of the New Jerusalem. And then over in far west, south of here, you have the far west temple site where they got as far as actually laying the cornerstones, like the big cornerstones of the temple. But of course, that was never finished. So I think that we can for sure count on those two temples to be built in the future. And I feel like you can add this one too. So the block, the only thing that I have out of all my research, everything that I found, the block for the temple was dedicated by Brigham Young. In fact, you know what? I might as well just read it. I got my phone all prepared. Okay, this is from The Life of Heber C. Kimball, pages 221 to 222. What followed, Heber's record thus relates: after hearing of the mobbing, burning, and robbing in Gallatin, Davies County, which, by the way, I have a video that I've made in Gallatin. You may want to check that out. In the region roundabout, the Brethren of Caldwell went directly to Adam-on-Diammon, which is on the west fork of the Grand River. Thomas B. Marsh, David W. Patton, Brigham Young, myself, Parley P. Pratt, and John Taylor amongst the number. When we arrived there, we found the Prophet Joseph Smith, Hiram Smith, and Sidney Rigdon, with hundreds of other saints, preparing to defend themselves from the mob who were threatening the destruction of our people. Many women and children were fleeing. Oh gosh, let me take a break. This makes good television, huh? I'm really talented at being a YouTuber. Men, women, and children were fleeing to that place for safety from every direction. Their houses and property were burnt, and they had to flee half naked, crying, and frightened, nigh unto death, to save their lives. While there, okay, now this is starting to describe the area that we're in right now. While there, we laid out a city on a high elevated place of land and set the stakes for the four corners of a temple block, which was dedicated, Brother Brigham being mouth. There were from 300 to 500 men present on the occasion, under arms. This elevated spot was probably from 250 to 500 feet above the level of Grand River, which I'm experiencing that fact right now as I'm panting and trying to breathe after burning all these calories. I'll just end it right there. Okay, I can see the place marker. I don't know if you see it or not. And there's another one over there in the tree. So there's the one right there, and the one that we're going to is like right there. Okay. Gotta pick up the pace, or else I'm gonna run out of battery. But all around in this area, there are place markers. And I'm gonna try and get the GPS coordinates for all of them, put them on my map for Google Earth, and then you can get an idea of where to go and where to find them. All right, I lost sight of the marker, but it's basically straight ahead. You can see they have these trails for you to walk on. I know that one goes to another marker. I think it goes to the house of the stake president of Adam-on-Diammon. Oh, I see it again. It's right there. All right, hurry, Jared. Beat the battery. If I have enough battery left, I'll try and go to a couple other ones. I thought this battery was fully charged. I guess not. When I started the video, it was like at 46%. I ran into, I think it was one big family. It seemed like the grandparents were from Utah, and the son or daughter and their family were from Georgia. So I stopped and talked to them, took them to the consecrated steeping spring, shared that story that I read to you. Okay, looks like we're gonna make it. Here it is. And this one has these little metal pokey things on top to keep the birds off. Oh, this is the main objective of this video. Public square and religious site. So this is where the temple would have been built. And in my opinion, this is where the temple is going to be built in the future. And I wouldn't be surprised if all this up here on Spring Hill gets developed, but we'll just have to see how it goes. Oh my gosh. Okay, I got 2% left. I have 2% left. Let's make the most out of it. Let's try and go over here to marker number 11. I don't even know how many markers there are. There's at least, I think, 26. I want to say Lyman White's cabin is number 26. If you have the book Sacred Places, Missouri by Barrett, he mentions all these locations. From what I can tell, they may have used his book as like a guide, I'm not sure. But I don't think all the numbers correspond to the numbers that they changed the numbering system, I think. Okay, this is public building number 1. 15 feet. Okay, we're gonna have to end it here. The GoPro just died. I mean, I guess it still gives you a little bit of life left, but we're gonna end it right here. I'll talk to you guys later.